Hello, everyone. Hi. Very well. Okay. Good evening. Okay, great. So it's nice to see you. Nice to see similar names, but then maybe as you notice, it's supposed to be Charles Theodore who will conduct the webinar tonight. However, he is actually sick right now, so I took over. So I hope it's okay. We're going to talk about everyday English, lesson number 28, explaining what you need. Hi, Dominica. I'm okay. Thank you. All right, very well. So we have a fine weather today. It's actually 20 degrees here in my place. Just okay. Yeah. I know it's cold there right now. Okay, so it seems to me that you can hear and see me, so maybe we can now try to start. Hello, Gosha, Ivana, Cyril, yeah, okay. Today's lesson is easy. It's about, as you see, explaining what you need. You know a time when, like this, for example, when you want to say something but you forgot the word, you just tend to explain it. All right. Oh, it's a kind of green thing that you will actually, those things. Yeah. Probably you had that situation in your life, correct? We all do have that, right? So we're going to talk about that today. All right. So let's start. Okay. Explaining what you need. Explaining means to make clear to someone in detail. Let's say, for example, yeah, definitely we do explain since we were kids. Kids anyway. They try to explain when you ask them. We tend to know that ever since, even if no one actually taught us how to explain something. It comes out naturally as a human. You think it's easy or difficult? What do you think? Let me know your answer. You think it easy or difficult explaining? Well, it depends, in my opinion. Mhm. If you know that you're not doing anything wrong, it's easy to explain. But if there's something wrong behind it, that in terms of, let's say, not telling the truth, I guess explaining is going to be hard. What is your idea about it? In your case, what is explaining easy or difficult? Tell me. Let me read your answers. Come on. It's okay. Yeah. Explaining. Now that I'm adult, I can say that there are some things that are too complicated that even if you try to explain it, it feels like it's not enough. It feels like um, the words coming out of your mouth trying to explain something that you don't understand is making the situation more worse or complicated. I experience it. So for Dominica and Neta, difficult. Ah, right, Magic. In English, it might be difficult, but in your native language, it might be easy. Rather difficult for Alicia, difficult for Dominica and Neta. Or Nata. I'm not sure how to read that, Nata or Nata. But then anyway, yeah. Mm, I guess it depends on the situation. If it is something like about job or work or things like a little complicated, it's not easy to explain. Well, sometimes in the first place, why do we need to explain? Yeah, probably there's something wrong. I think sometimes it's difficult to express what's actually on our mind. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes it's true. Okay, very well. Thank you. Let's move on. Let's see. So I'm going to provide some vocabularies connected to explaining anyway. And then later on, we're going to have a little practice or a little game. So, when it is a metal, when it is a metal, it is something like solid material. It is shiny. Examples are cutlery, coins, vehicles. Yeah. No worries, Sylvia. It's okay. Okay, and then for plastic, it is some kind of synthetic material. Examples of that are toys, bottles, credit cards. Yeah. Okay, think of those words. Okay, later on, I'm going to ask you for some examples of each. Okay, metal, plastic, and then we have another vocabulary is paper. Of course, we know that it is simple, made of wood. Some examples of that are books, tissue, kitty litter, right? And then we have wool, material that is actually made of goat or sheep fur. Cutlery are things which we eat with. Yeah, those are spoons, fork, sorry, and knives. Yeah, it's true. Cutlery, or in other words, Ivana, utensils in American English. Okay. So going back, we have here another vocabulary. Probably you know this already. Okay. Wool, it's a kind of a material made of goat's fur or sheep's fur. Example of that are clothes and yarn. Okay. And then another vocabulary, more or less, it's about cardboard. The reason why this is the words that are actually presented right now, it's because according to survey, somehow, these are we know metal anyway, but trying to explain it somehow in details, in words. Oh, what is that metal? Oh, a tin can is a metal. We know what is a metal. A tin can is a metal, but what is metal, right? You got me? That's why we are doing this right now. And we know cardboard. Oh, cardboard. Bags, boxes, for example. But yeah, what is a cardboard? Yeah. So it's a stiff kind of paper. For wood, oh, we know wood. Some bed frames are made of wood. Chairs, it's made of wood. But then, yeah, explaining it in details, we tend to give samples more than the meaning of the word, more likely, right? So for wood, it is a material from trees. Yeah? Okay, let's continue. Another vocabulary I want to share is tin. Oh, what is a tin? Examples of that are actually nails, nails when you're building a house, not nails on your fingers. Okay, cans, jars. Oh, so what is a tin? So it's a silvery white kind of metal. Okay. And what about rubber, right? Oh, we know rubber, boots, rubber bands, some kind of those things. But yeah, what is it? So it's a material, an elastic material, right? Very well. Okay, let's continue. Then we have here another one, which is glass. Normally, we know what glass is. So explaining it is something like it's a hard but brittle substance, like cups, eyeglasses, windows, right? Very well. And of course, probably you know what is a leather. Oh, we know leathers. My jacket is leather, shoes or bags or whatever. Yeah. And then when someone asks you, okay, so what is a leather? So at least we know that it is a material from an animal's skin. Yeah. Very well. Doing good so far. Later on, I'm going to ask you some sort of samples about these words that we have here right now. Okay. But then, by the way, brittle, hard but brittle substance. When we say brittle, it is breakable. A glass is hard but brittle substance, meaning to say it is breakable. Well, we know that anyway. Windows are hard but breakable. Cups, mugs, glasses you use for drinking, brittle substance. Yeah? Good? Brittle, breakable. Okay? Next, let's continue. Then now, okay, this is to ask you some sort of practice. Now tell me, what is a tin or metal? Any examples that you can think of a tin or a metal? Earlier, I gave you the explanation of each. Well, a little bit fast anyway. But since you know some examples of tin or metal products, can you tell me what's the meaning of tin or metal? It's okay. Anything that you can say. Oh, it's a kind of material that is na na ni na na na. Tell me, let me read your answer. Yeah? What is tin or metal? So, of course, as you can see here, the one that we have here on our photo, it's a kind of tin. But what is it? Please explain. Very well. It's okay. Don't be shy. Anything that you can say in English about a metal or a tin anyway. So, right, for Gosha, it's some sort of coins or cutlery. A metal is a hard material. Yeah, it's a solid material, shiny material. That's correct. Very well. Okay, good. What about rubber? Thank you. It used in steel mills. Yes, that's right. Okay, let's move on with rubber. What about rubber? Now, what is a rubber? Yeah. Oh, it's the rubber band that you use sometimes. Okay. But yeah, what is that? What is a rubber? Yeah, come on. In your own words. Let's try not to, maybe try to explain the words that we have here in your own words the best way that you can. Let's try rubber. So, it's a kind of material that we can expand. Yes, very well. I like that. Okay, thank you, Slavik. So, correct. It is an expandable material, or we say elastic material. Very good. Correct. Okay. Material for tires. Thank you, Magic. Okay. A rather solid material. Okay. For coins, cabs, etc. And that is for metal, Alicia, I guess. Thank you. What about glass? Let's move on with glass. In your own words, what is a glass? Yeah. So earlier we tend to say that mugs, cups, windows are examples of glass. And please explain in your own words, what is a glass? It's okay. So a glass is something that you put in your eyes because you cannot read easily. Bottle for cooking, correct? For drinking, sorry. Bottle for drinking, it's true, that's a glass. Oh, it's a kind of a transparent material. It can be transparent, it can has color. Delicate material. I like that, Cyril. Okay. Again, when we talked earlier, it's a brittle kind of substance. It's hard, but breakable. Okay. Very well. Let's continue. Thank you. Going on. Okay. Brittle, Gosha. Okay, like this, right? It's breakable. Let's move on with wood. Oh, what is a wood? Oh, our bed frame is actually made of wood. Yeah. My computer table is actually made of wood. Oh, I like that, Slavic. It's a fragile material and it's correct. Okay. Uh, hmm. Thank you, Alicia. It's a breakable material. Yeah. And what about wood? We know what is wood. It's trees are wood. Yeah. So in this case, it's like, of course, it is a substance from a tree. A baseball bat is a wood. It's true. It's true, Peter. Yeah, yeah, that's correct. Okay, very well, Agnes. Agnieszka, thank you. Wood is actually from trees. That's correct. No other substance on earth can give us wood but trees. Nothing more, nothing less, I guess. It's only just for from trees. Thank you. Materials for furnishing. Yes, furnitures. Materials for furnitures. Matching. Okay, let's move on. Paper. What about paper? Yeah. Well, of course, it's a thin kind of thing that you can actually write. Yeah, you can write using a pen or a pencil, more or less. Yeah, paper. So, what is a paper for you? How do you explain paper? Yep, correct, Cyril. Paper is actually from wood. It is a product of wood that's actually comes from trees. Correct, very well. Okay, so it's like a kind of a pulp, right? Raw materials for boxes, for paper bags, if I'm not mistaken, for writing in notebooks. Very well. Okay, let's move on with cardboard. What about cardboard? Earlier, I tried to share what a cardboard is. Maybe you can tell me. Thank you, Peter. Something to write on. Thank you, Ivana. That's right. It is something to write on. Very well. As simple as that, right? What about cardboard? Mm-hmm. Let's see. So you said earlier it's a kind of stiff or hard, quite hard uh, kind of paper, let me say. It's it's a kind of delicate, can easily be broken, for cardboard. Not really easily broken. It depends if it's wet. So you can do box from cardboard. Yeah, it's true. You can make, Dominica, you can make box from cardboard. Okay. Something used to pack. Very well. That's correct. It's a carton. It's a box. Very good. Cardboard uses for making a box. Thank you, Slavic. Now let's continue. So yeah, this is explaining. What about tin? I think I asked that earlier. Tin or metal. Yeah. Let's move on with well, tin. Oh, it's when you go to the grocery shop, you saw some sardines. It's in a tin. Yeah, yeah. More or less, sometimes we tend to give samples for us to be able to share and explain. A kind of metal. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, it's correct. All right. So you're welcome, Dominica. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's correct. You can make box from cardboard. Okay. Tin. So it is when you want some sardines, you can buy some at the grocery shop. It's actually in a tin. Yeah, very well. Okay, tin used in electric products. Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true. More or less. Metal for solder. Solder, yeah. Mm-hmm. So there are different kinds of tins anyway. Let's move on with plastic. Thank you. Yes, it's true for soldering. Yep, correct. Thank you. Plastic, by the way. Okay. So, trying to explain what plastic is to a child, say, for example. Yeah. Thank you, Alicia. That's correct. A white, silver, white metal, like nails and jars and can, right? What about plastic? So you're going to explain to someone what is a plastic. Let's say, for example, there's some sort of an alien or someone out of this world that doesn't really know what plastic is. Very well, plastic. It's true everywhere. That's correct, Agnieszka. Well, artificial material, that's correct. It's made of plastic. It is a synthetic material. Yeah, very good. It is soft. It is soft. It is slightly elastic. I can say it is slightly elastic. Plastic is made Plastic is made almost of all around us as toys, bottles, etc. Correct. Everything around us are almost made of plastic. Thank you. What about wool? What is a wool? So as you see here on our photo today, yes, this is a kind of wool. Yeah. It is actually when my grandma tried to make some gloves, okay, out of yarn. That is a wool, yeah, right? Sometimes we tend to explain it like that. In your own words, what is a wool, right? So we know it's a wavy hair of a goat or a sheep, yeah. So you can use uh, wool. It's wool, Dominica, to make a sweatshirt, or pullover. It's true, especially now that it is cold. Definitely, we need those things. Yeah, right. Very well. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Let's try to have practice. So, how can you explain what is this thing? Thank you for your answers about wool. How can you explain what is this thing? So we know it, we use it, but what is this again? Right? hmm What is it again? How can you explain that? hmm So let me see. Let me check your explanation. Okay, yeah, very well. Those are actually pins. That's correct. Now, what is a pin? I don't know what is a pin anyway. So, it's to fix a piece of paper to board. Yeah, more or less. Okay. So we can also say it's a kind of metal with a sharp point at the end, right? It's a kind of metal which with a sharp point at the end. Usually the head is actually round, with round head. You can pin on something. Yep, correct. And it might hurt. It might hurt people. Very well, thank you. Let's move on. Oh, what about this one? What is this? Mm-hmm. So, thank you. You can use it. For example, paper to the table. All right, very well. Thank you. What about this next picture that we have here? So what is it? So we know that this is a kind of tool. Yeah. So how do you call this tool? Mm-hmm. So this is something that you use when you need to fix something, actually. Some sort of a screw. You can use it when you need to screw something. It's true, correct? So it's a kind of metal that with a handle, okay, that when you need to fasten a screw, right? Okay, so normally we tend to fasten the screw, or maybe vice versa when we need it. Yep, correct. It's a screwdriver. Very well. Thank you. Okay, what about this? So, hey, what is that? Something that you use to clean your ears or something? Yeah. So, what it is made of? Okay. What it is made of anyway. So, we know this. Yeah. We know that it is some kind of a very soft material. So, it's like actually cotton. Yeah. So, what is a cotton? Yeah. How can you explain this in your own words? What is that? Something that you use in your ears? Yeah. Or maybe not just only in your ears, but you use it as well on other things to clean. Yeah. We can use it to clean ears. Very well. Thank you. So it's a small stick. We can also say a small stick with cotton. Thank you, Gosha, Agnieszka. Yeah, we have the same answer. Very good. Okay, let's continue now. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. What about this one? Normally, if we're not quite techy, okay, yes, we are not quite familiar with the different kinds of cable anyway. But what kind of cable is that? What is it? Mhm. And what is it used for? Yeah. So we know that it is cable. And how can you explain that? Oh, it's a cable to telephone. Yeah, it's an Ethernet cable. We can connect our devices. It's a cable which you can connect your computer with internet socket. That's correct, Dominica. So this is actually an Ethernet cable, right? So it is colored, normally used for internet connection. Thank you. Very well. Or sometimes even for telephone. Very well. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. And this one, normally nowadays in our life, we have dishwashers already. Okay. So living the new modern life. But if you tend to live, maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, we use this in our kitchen. So what do you call that thing? It's soft. Yeah. It absorbs water. You use it for what? What is that? How can you explain something like a sponge to someone that doesn't know what a sponge is, because maybe they already have dishwasher their whole life. Okay. So normally we don't use that now in our kitchen. A sponge is actually made from it's a sedentary material. Yeah. It's a sedentary material, which is synthetic. It can be, yeah, synthetic material, yeah. So from plastic. Thank you, Magic. Uh, Gosha. It's for cleaning dishes. Yep, correct. Now there's another use of sponge to clean your car, I guess. Yeah. Thank you. Very well. Okay, let's move on. So, how about this? I don't know if you use that, but I found this online, so I guess this is one good sample. Okay, to explain. So, what is this thing? How can you explain this thing? Yeah. So, oh, it is the thing that you use when you eat, and then after eating, it's there's some sort of small I don't know, food or tartar, let's say. Yeah, we tend to use that, right? So of course, explaining it, a small stick of wood, Agnieszka, small stick of wood. Yeah, very well. So it's a small wood, or sometimes it can be made of plastic. Okay, so to remove bits of uh, bits of food between our teeth. Yeah, more or less. A little stick for snack. Ew, it can be. It can be for snack. You're right. To use to serve small tapas. Correct. Okay. To remove some bits of food between our teeth, it's a wooden stick. It can be also made of plastic sometimes. So it's pointed piece of wood, as you see. Very good. Thank you. But now, of course, we're almost there anyway to actually almost end this webinar. So, tips for explaining, you know it anyway. Try to speak slowly, use hand gestures, yeah. Be as specific as possible. Use samples, and normally we tend to use samples most of the time when we want to explain something instead of like literally explaining it in detail. We tend to use samples, and of course try to in most cases hand gestures. Yeah, synonyms can also be great, and just be confident in sharing your ideas with something. Yeah, so of course, just a little trivia maybe again. What is a hard but brittle substance? Is it glass or rubber? Mm-hmm. We're almost there anyway. Just a trivia again. Not a trivia anyway. Just a question. What is that thing? Very well, thank you, Peter. Okay, you answered first. Number two, a material used in a car tires. What do you use for your car? A material used for car tires. Thank you for the answers, Magic, Agnieszka, Ivona, Gosha. Gosha, thank you. That's correct. Rubber. Okay, very well. Thank you. So we're almost there. Okay. Thank you so much for all the cooperation today. I hope that you find this webinar useful. And uh, um, let me, of course, ask you now the question. I don't know what seems to be the problem, but yeah, there you go. Okay. So if you don't have any more questions, thank you. Let me ask you, the poll questions. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Thank you. I hope that you find this useful for today's webinar. Supposed to be for uh, Charles Theodore, but thank you. You are also cooperative, and of course, please participate in similar events in the future. My next webinar would be December 12. Okay, but of course, every day we have webinars here at Tutlo, and thank you so much. Very well. Have a good evening. See you again soon. Thank you. Goodbye.